Hey there, guys. We just had the Brave Exvius update live stream number 72 for the month of September, and this one, in my opinion, was a lot better than previous streams. So good, in fact, that I decided to even bring on a guest to discuss the stream with me instead of doing it all by myself. So this time, joining me is Tygia. So you can say hello, Tygia.
What's up, guys? How y'all doing?
So we have a collaboration coming this month, and you probably already heard about it, but the collaboration is Parasite Eve. So, Tygia, you did not play Parasite Eve, unfortunately.
Sadly, I have not.
Yeah, but do you really know much about the game at all, or just not really at all?
Not really. It's like bits and parts of understanding what I've seen from like videos and stream when people play it. But from what I understand, it is like I'll say more angel slash demon type of Resident Evil type of game, from what I understand. Or might be wrong there.
Kind of. It is a game that I personally really enjoyed playing, and I'm like super hyped that this is our collaboration, because this is a global exclusive collaboration. This is not just a copy paste from JP. So this is similar to like, the Deus Ex collaboration, the Nier
Lara
collaborations.
Croft.
Lara
Yep.
Croft. Yep. Stuff that, completely global originals. So that's super cool. So the game, it does very much resemble Resident Evil, like you say. The old Resident Evil games. The combat is actually turn-based. Once you get into an encounter, it turns into turn-based, whereas Resident Evil was, real-time. But the themes and all are very similar. Like the first enemy you find like is a rat, and like it goes into a cutscene where the rat like mutates, and it's really gory and disgusting. Honestly, it's pretty hardcore for a game designed for kids. And then again, so is Resident
The
Evil.
images though.
So it was a really cool game. It was just really cool. I really enjoyed it. So real quick, we're going to just watch the trailer that they gave. It's only a few seconds long, but this is the trailer for the preview. It's going to show you Aya's base form and shifted form LB. She is a Brave Shift unit. So here we go. Parasite Eve. Had a good soundtrack, too.
Oh yeah, I was noticing that. I was watching it. It was pretty good.
And there we go. Joins the fray on the 21st. So real quick, just from this preview, we can see a few things if you look closely. And right here, she is a fire unit. So if you played the game, you'll know why she's a fire unit. Spontaneous combustion of people just bursting into flames was a huge part of the game.
That sounds pretty funny. That sounds like an anime trope that's coming on recently.
Yeah, so the whole thing is like because it's a super old game. No one's gonna play it, but I don't want to I guess I don't want to spoil the whole storyline of telling you why she is immune to the spontaneous combustion. She's like the only person in the city that can get close to the mitochondria Eve because she's immune to the combustion powers. And I guess I won't tell you why, so you can play the game yourself. But
25 years. I think they had a good chance to try it out. Just 25 years. Just saying.
That is true. So let's look at the LBs just real quick. Here we go. So we can kind of see right here, for one thing, I love that Liberate is the actual LB. That's like that was like her ultimate move in the game, was Liberate. At the very end of the game, you got this ability. So real quick, we can see right away, for one thing, it applies Re-Raise, it applies Weapon in Peril, and it applies a defense break. So there we go. We don't know numbers and all, but we can know that kind of stuff. And you can see Aya turning into like I'm not sure how you describe it, like the original version of the human race back in prehistoric periods. It's pretty interesting. And then in the shift form, by the way, the base form we can tell is a one-hit LB, and the shift form looks like extreme.
Super delayed, by the way. super delayed LB, by the way.
The base form is, yeah, and then the shift form looks like Extreme Nova from the hit count, it looks like. And it looks like the boss has a buff up here. And it looks like it dispels as well. So interesting. So that's what we can see from that. Pretty cool. And here is her base form and her shift form. Also, we saw when they zoomed in on this Brave shift, you could see the cooldown, and we could see that it was a true Brave shift as well.
Oh, that's good to know. Yeah, because I'm just tired of Malphasey and cheesy type of units, and SLB. Oh boy, Dwayne. It's just hassle and cow. It's like, oh, gotta time this burst perfectly, or he's sitting there doing nothing.
Mm-hmm. Yep. True Brave Shift is definitely where it's at. And then her base form is like her casual police officer outfit, plain clothes. And then the shift form is her opera outfit, which is how the game starts, actually. At the beginning of the game, you're going to an opera, and Melissa is the opera singer who gets taken over by Eve. And the entire opera house, all the people burst into flames and die. It's a pretty gory game.
I originally thought it was just a reskin for the next phase. I didn't actually see it in the transitions. I went back to text in Discord, like, oh, she has 2 different skins, I guess. I think they finally used it. But once someone messaged me about it, I was like, oh, okay. That's actually just her Brave Shift form.
Mm-hmm. And then here we go here. And here's her vision card. Just a little bit of lore, after the audience is killed by Melissa. Yeah, Melissa just burns the entire audience and melts all the bodies. It's gruesome. And then she turns into Mitochondria Eve, etc. Pretty cool. Here's some previews for the event bosses. So you've got Melissa over here, or Eve, as she turns into. And then the ultimate form, the baby. So these will be the event bosses.
Wait, you said the ultimate form is the baby?
Yes, so the basically, Melissa gets pregnant and then has a baby, and the baby is like, this is a long time since I played, so basically like the perfect form of evolution of the human species. And the baby is like, typical anime stuff. The baby's like super powered, and the baby literally grows from newborn to like infant to child to adolescent to adult to final evolution form over the course of like 10 minutes. And that's actually the final boss of the game, and you fight all the forms of evolution, and the boss keeps getting harder and harder as it keeps aging up during the fight. It's really cool, but unfortunately it seems like we're only getting the baby form. There's actually like 6 forms or 5 forms to this boss, but maybe during the event the baby evolves into other forms like in the game.
Yeah, that'd be an interesting thing, because I think there's one thing about the raids they have like not really touched upon, because it was the levels. We used to have it where the levels were, I think it was Ifrit, that it would be his 1 weaker fire form, and it changed to higher, if I remember correctly. But I don't think they use that anymore, and they just level 99, kill.
And here's some basic information about Aya. So her base form is a healer as well as a damage dealer. The base form is Earth. Got Clash of Will skills that removes buffs and reduces healing for enemies, so kind of like Melissa. Do you think this is going to be on like a 1-use Magnus or a multiple-use Magnus, or do you think this is going to be just on demand? What do you think?
I actually think it's going to be a similar skill to Lilith, actually, but instead of scaling off defense, it probably scale off attack.
Okay.
Because it seemed very strange when they put the healer tag on her, and like how the boss is so synchronized to using status ailments, and well, I'm talking about the cow boss at least. I feel like it's going to at least align to that same thing and try to heal it all off. So I think like they're going to try to make a specialized mixed type of unit for a base, pretty much a better version of what we got of Lena.
That'd be super cool if they do it that way. And here's some more basic information. So the base form is an Earth element damage dealer with healing capabilities. She can cure stop, boost immunities, reduce cooldowns for self, and then a Magnus that increases Earth damage for allies. We'll see that in a minute. And then shift form is pure DPS, fire element in the shift form, 180 amplify for Clash only. I'm assuming it's going to be like Richt. Richt has the same thing, 180 light amp in Clash, 150 out of Clash. Aya's probably the same thing.
That's what I was assuming. And I originally thought that she was a premium when I saw her the 180, but apparently she's not.
Mm-hmm. Yep, she probably will be. I'm almost certain she's going to be limited, though.
Definitely. There's no way they're gonna leave her in.
Mm-hmm. And then here's a Clash of Wills build. Again, this is just the 180 amplified. Basically the same thing as Rick's. 180 amplified, fills LB gauge, fills morale gauge, only for Clash of Wills, right there. And then base form ability, Antibody. This is kind of interesting. So it's a 100 Earth amp for herself. So she seems to be secondary Earth element. Not 150, only 100 for Earth. So 150 fire, 100 Earth. But AoE 60%. So this is not something you can really replace like a buffer in Dark Visions, but it could be useful for like Clash of Wills, I guess. For like future turns after your big burst.
Yeah, I kind of seen this and I was like, oh, this actually looks kind of good. But then I seen the turn limitations, and then the first thing I thought about was just Sylvie. Like, Sylvie does this job better, even though that's mainly her support job. But it's like 2 turns, you wasting that 1 turn, or buffing it up, then the next turn you get 60% and it dies off. It's like, well.
I heard during the stream they were talking about, I thought it sounded like recharging abilities. Did you hear them say that, or am I just crazy?
I did not hear that, but see, if that was mentioned, that would be so amazing. That is one of the miss opportunities for most units, is to recharge Magnuses. Ever since Esther showed it off, it's been amazing.
Yeah, and I don't know if that's actually a thing. I thought I heard someone mention a recharge. I could be mistaken, but I would hope that this can be, because only 100 is not that big a deal. We'll have to see.
Yep.
And then here's our leader skill. This is very boring. Leader skill is the same thing we've had, since Richt, etc. Richt, Malphasey, all them. 300 out of class, 500 in class. In other words, she's not going to be your leader.
Yeah, I was kind of hoping that she'd be mixed, since she was fire and earth, like 750 for fire in clash and 500 outside for earth. It would have been slightly more interesting than what we've been getting.
Would have been definitely nice. And then here's the gear she comes with. So the chest piece, STMR, 500 attack spirit for herself, and then some killers. Overall, not super special. I mean, it's okay for, other people. I guess for your 3rd damage dealer, it's actually pretty good if you need the killers, because, there's two Clash of Wills gear, and then, unit number 3 needs something. So this is good.
Yeah, I was starstruck when I seen that it has 2 killers for the 100%, and I was like, whoa. As then I realized, like, even human, probably one of the 2 easiest to gear for, and then, like you said, Cal gear, it pretty much, you always choose those first, so.
And then, actually her TMR is kind of nice as well. So 65 attack power, 50 LB damage, and 50 double hand. So, it's not as good as Pain's STMR with 75 LB damage and higher attack power. But if you need that 50 double hand, it's decent, I guess, with the LB damage.
Yeah, it works well with Ace Striker. I've got which Titus's Super TMR that is. I think the 2nd premium one.
Yeah, his is 150 double hand. So that'd be good to cap it all to 200. Be pretty nice. And then here's your vision card. Honestly speaking, the vision card is not very good. You're probably not going to use it.
Yeah, I've seen that's like, why is it 300? It could have been fine with 500 with 120 base attack, but then they just, maybe they thought the abilities was, too much, so they lowered it down.
Normally on these like global clash units, they usually give a special banner vision card, and they usually do not preview those during the stream. So I would not be surprised if her banner vision card is like the one you're supposed to use on her if you don't have like premium cards and all that. But
yep, I definitely see that happening.
Yeah, this vision card is not anything special. And then we also so that's basically it for the Brea news. Parasite Eve collaboration. There's actually more for the event itself we're going to get into in a minute. I'm just doing the slides in order. But then we talked about Dark Dragon Buffin. And when they previewed this, a lot of people were thinking, like, is this going to be a banner unit? What? It was a free unit in JP. As we found out later in the stream, he's actually a free unit as well.
Yeah, that threw me for a loop because when I first seen it, I was like, whoa, y'all really trying to sell this unit. And then I realized like it's not even the Dragon Rust, it's this one. It was very bad to begin with. I also was looking through the skills again. I was like, they didn't really change much from what he had originally.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so this is so people that don't know, in the JP version, there's Dark Vision's Abyss, and in Dark Vision's Abyss, you get one of the perks of Dark Vision's Abyss is you get a free unit. There was originally the Phoenix Hyo, who was like basically similar to this. It was, Hyo and Phoenix combined into an Esper unit, and he was free and given out. But because we skipped Dark Vision's Abyss, we never got him. And then they gave out this unit, Dark Dragon Buffin, from a future Dark Vision's Abyss, which, again, it seems like we're skipping. But at the very least, we're getting the unit from a different way. So, it's kind of neat, I guess. Do you like, either Roos or Buffin, etc., in the story?
I actually avoid the story, like,
oh, okay.
fire moth to a flame. Like, it just, I don't know. It's something about Brave Exvius story that just makes me cringe so much. That's
fine.
Oh no, it gets worse because after you told me, well, you said on your videos about Baby Roka, and I definitely just never gonna read it.
Oh my god, that's back in season 3. Season 3 was definitely the lowest of the low point for the Brave Exvius story. Was season 3? That is true. And yeah,
I imagine.
So this guy is from season 3. This is to spoil the story a little bit. I'm not even entirely sure the whole convolution of it. So Roos and Nelica, I don't even know. They went back in time or something and took over Buffin, and I forgot the other one's name, and they were part of season 3, but they were in disguise, and I'm sure someone will correct me in the comments, someone that actually paid closer attention to the story. But so Roos and Nelica were actually in disguise during season 3 as Buffin, and I forgot the other one. And then once you get into season 4, they take off the disguise, and then they become Roos and Nelica. But yeah, so this is basically season 3 Roos. And the unit is a free unit. It's not a good unit. He's very, very weak. Unless they global buff him, he's just a unit you're not going to use. He is free, though, so whatever. And then they previewed some of his abilities. Again, we're not going to spend much time on him. Some abilities, it's a free unit, and then bad leader skill, and then, some TMR, STMR, which, again, you're just not really going to use. It's a free unit that you're not going to use. So.
Speaking of leader skills, there was no mention of Esper units or leader skills in this. I was highly surprised.
Oh, yeah, because Roka and Tyvis, the Esper units, are due very, very soon. And yeah, that is surprising. They didn't cover them at all, huh? I kind of figured they would, maybe because wasn't Lightning part of the last month's stream?
It was.
Yeah.
It was the anniversary stream, yeah. Yeah, she was actually, I think she was the main appeal of the first one. Showed off her LB and then went straight into buffing other units, which was minor and whatever.
Yeah, so they definitely still could do that for Roka and Tyvis, but they didn't mention anything in the stream. So we'll have to see that, I guess, next week, because, we do know we're getting Dark Visions this month because it was in the monthly bulletin, and there's only 1 week left, so it'll have to be Dark Visions next week. So, yeah, kind of strange they didn't preview it in the stream, huh? And then they gave us some information. We're getting another Brave Exvius unit popularity poll, and we're getting 2 of them. They only previewed 1 of them, though. So the first one is for global original units only, and we're going to vote on them, and I guess the winner of the vote, kind of like, Malphasy, etc., will be getting a new unit. So tell me why we should vote for Kier, Tygia, as our global original unit Kier.
Obviously, Kier was so powerful before he had his original form. He had to transform over and just nerf him down to what he is now. Obviously, of course, that's why.
All right, so really though, so these are all the units, and we're gonna vote for who we want to see a new unit. So, do you want to say who you're gonna vote for? Or do you know who you're gonna vote for, based on this list?
Definitely me. It's probably one or two units. It's going to be either no three. Excuse me. Beryl, Esther, or Ibarra. My
Another
only problem.
Esther? We have so many Esthers though.
I love Esther. That was my original unit. Actually, I might. It actually might be Roberta except Esther.
Okay. For me, it's gonna be a pretty, obvious choice. I'm gonna go for Zahn, and I'm gonna hope we get a Neovision Zahn. I assume they're probably not gonna make Zahn the way I would hope them to make him. Even if he does win and he does get a unit, they would probably just make him a generic damage dealer or a breaker. They're not gonna make him, actual Zahn.
What he is.
Yeah, but maybe, and I'm gonna vote for him. I hope. We'll have to see.
There's one thing I dislike about this popularity poll. Talked about it in chat. Is that they're gonna give us the whole list of global exclusive units, but then don't take ones out that are originally recent winners like Malphasy, Elena, Lesperance. I'm tired of seeing Elena. Are we on our fourth or fifth one?
You say that, and then you say you're voting for Sylvie there. Not Sylvie, Esther.
Esther. We had two. I think a third is fine, and then that can go crazy.
So they didn't preview the second poll. The other poll is going to be vote for your favorite non-global unit. So basically, all the other units in the game, pretty much all the JP units. So the entire roster of JP units. Do you have like one or two units from the JP side that you would vote for if globals are excluded from the vote?
That's interesting. I guess I'll say either Mercedes or I'll say Russ. Russ. I like dual wield units with swords like that. He's probably one of them. If it's not him, can't think up off the top of my head, but most likely it's probably another dual wield unit.
Okay, that's pretty cool. For me, even though he's already had three different units, I would still vote for Bart's just because one of my favorite units is Bart's. As far as like who would my second pick be from the JP units, I'm not entirely sure. Honestly speaking, it's going to probably seem surprising to people. I would probably say Folka. I really always did like Folka's unit, and she did have use during the 7-star days, and I did use her in quite a few guides in the 7-star days, but I just really like the idea of the all-in, dedicated, best of the best healers. Now, the problem is we don't really need healers these days, so they would have to make her more of a buffer, I suppose, if she's going to be viable in today's game. But still, I would like to see a really overpowered Folka. Just awesome buffer and healer.
Oh, I actually like that opinion. Folka was one of my favorite units back then too, but just like you said, the healer meta kind of faded out, and then they mended in with the buffers, so it's like you don't really heal her at all.
Yep. So, I assume this is going to start next week. I'm not sure if they say when it's going to start, but when it does start, vote for your favorite units. We're going to have a global vote and a non-global vote. And then some other upgrades during the stream. This was actually really surprising, and I'm pretty happy. Snavlinka is getting a DPS upgrade. So her modifier, 80 to 210. This is actually her cooldown. This is not her base. So her cooldown currently buffs it by 80. Now it's going to buff it by 210. I think someone said in the chat that her total modifier after all this will be 630. Which is better. I'm not sure if that's going to make her, meta or anything. I'll have to do the math. I haven't done it yet. But, it's a free buff. It's a totally global exclusive buff. JP does not have this. So this is this is really nice. I love seeing them doing stuff like this. Taking units that are not meta and really need some touch-ups and making them better. How do you feel about this?
Oh, I was ecstatic about this. We was just talking in chat about how Southlink is a bad unit in general, but her Leo's Hill is decent for Earth units. And then literally 2 seconds later, mentioned a buff. I was like, whoa, okay. As for the buff, I think it's just amazing as well. That's a substantial buff for a unit who, was decent damage now. And I think she probably will, I won't say the top 10, but probably will hit the top 15, 20 DPS, even with that 500 Leah skill. Hopefully.
Yep. Did they on the stream say when this is going active? Like, is this coming this Thursday, or this is like a down the road type thing? Do you know?
I think they mentioned it was coming up this Thursday.
Oh, nice.
I was too hyped to hear, but yeah, it was. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was coming.
Nice, very nice. And then another surprising nice thing. So, we've talked about this before. I have talked about this before. How in JP, some of the elemental cards are just random gotcha cards, like the wind card, the earth card. We're not there yet, but the water card as well. The fire card came from Rain, the ice card from Lastwell, the dark card from Deoxys, etc. But then the earth, wind, and water cards were just random cards. They weren't on a unit. And we skipped them on Global. They didn't come. The wind card came during Zidane's banner, and the earth card came during Stavlenka's banner, and they were just missing completely. Well, this is the earth card, and they're now adding it, just like JP, to the random vision card pool. What this means is, when you pull a Neo Vision unit, and you get this random free card, and usually at this day and age, they're all bad. Well, now you can potentially get this card when you pull a random card. So that's pretty cool. What do you think?
Yeah, I like it. I think there might be a problem because now you have to wait to randomly get it, and then we don't know percentage of when you can get this one unit. I know a lot of people was mad that it's just now coming, but I feel like it doesn't matter as much because most units will use better cards now, that like Rich Vision card or a Mars, depending on the build. And most of the Earth units, either XDEF will use another card that's already locked down to them. So it's like, this is nice to have, but not essential. I think it's cool that that's it.
Now, I will say, we are still missing the Wind card, and that was not mentioned. And that one actually came first. The Wind card came like 3 weeks before the Earth card, based on the JP, but we still don't have a Wind card. So units like, Malphase or Zidane, if you don't have those, like EX3 Richt card or something, they're missing their good elemental card. So I really hope they're going to, add in the Wind card very soon as well. And hopefully, once we get to the water cards date, which should be, I think, during the Tyvis banner upcoming, hopefully they just add that right away and don't make us wait an extra 2 months.
Yeah, that'd be very much good. And I think the Wind card is probably more important just because the units they're more used than Earth units now. What? Valharma, Stavlenka. Is Radar defense scaling?
Radar. No, actually, it's attack power. Radar is.
I guess Radar will use. Okay, maybe there's 5 units that could possibly use it.
And then the best one is probably Yuffie, the premium Yuffie.
Oh, true. I forgot she exists again.
And this is actually better than her own premium card, amusingly enough, because she actually came before the era of 170 cards. So yeah,
I guess I was wrong.
Hopefully, I get 1 or 2 of these from random polls. And then, now we're back to Parasite Eve again. This is the Parasite Eve event stuff. So collaboration gear. So the Type 64 is obviously going to be a gun pretty much only for Aya Brea. 750 attack power for her, double-handed. I will just, as a bit of lore from Parasite Eve, this was a gun you find during the Chrysler building, the end game optional dungeon. It's not the best gun in the game, though. It's like the second best gun in the game, but the best gun would have been the P090 gun, and they didn't use that. Missed opportunity. Just to be lore accurate.
You take some, you win some. Wait, I said that totally wrong. Good enough.
And then the other event gear is, whatever, who cares? It's a little bit of resistance, partial immunities, and then some. I mean, it's for newer players. You're not going to use this.
Yeah, more duds.
And then Clash of Wills. So unfortunately, again, kind of a missed opportunity. It would have been awesome for the Clash of Wills boss to be either like the T-Rex from Parasite Eve, or one of the other bosses in Parasite Eve, or the Ultimate Being's like final form. Would have been a great Clash of Wills boss. Unfortunately, it's Anthem Mimosa or whatever. It's a completely unrelated. This has nothing to do with Parasite Eve. This is a totally original boss.
You mean Lilymon? You mean Lilymon?
Lilymon?
The Digimon.
Oh, is this like from a Pokemon or something?
It's Digimon. Yeah, it's
Digimon.
Design is nearly exact, or I guess you can say reverse to how she looks to the T. I mean, she looks like Plant Monster, obviously, but it's so similar. It's sad.
Oh, jeez. I actually did not know. That's kind of amusing. They do seem to do that sometimes in Clash of Wills. I remember it's a while back, but like the Robot Panther boss we had, people kept saying that was like similar to like a Digimon boss or something.
Yeah, Mega Garugumon. Yeah, there we go. Pronounced it the second
time. But yep, so this kind of stuff we already kind of knew from the monthly bulletin. So we knew the races, we knew the weaknesses, but now we know the sprite and the boss name. And again, they just kind of rehashed the stuff we already knew. This is basically the exact same thing as the monthly bulletin. And this is some just relatively generic stuff, has multiple weaknesses, blah. This is all stuff we already knew.
Hoping for more information, but yeah.
Mm-hmm. And here we go, some new information. So the Dark Vision's coming up. This is where I mentioned we're going to be getting Buffin as a free unit. So participate in Dark Visions, get the exchange tickets, and you can exchange them for Dark Dragon Buffin. So in JP, I will say real quick, in JP, this unit, you cannot get shards for him from the shard dungeon. So for those of you that, for some reason, want to stick him in the shard dungeon, he won't actually drop shards. That's in JP. They may change that for global. Probably not. So the way you get him to EX3 is you get lots of copies and you shard them, but you can't farm them over time. But global may change that. Who knows? But he's really not worth farming in the shard dungeon regardless.
Yeah, he's an outdated unit, and he was already like behind the man when he came to JP when Abyss came. Mm-hmm. I mean, I think that was came to most of the Abyss units. He, Phoenix Hio, him. Wasn't there a third one? I'm trying to remember.
Yeah, there was Vlad and then Shiva. I think Vlad and Dark Shiva.
It's Vlad and Dark Shiva. Oh god, I remember looking at that unit. It was so terrible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're basically kind of what you can expect from free units. They're actually slightly worse than free units, because the units like Adia and Sid, they're not great, but they're okay. These are actually slightly worse.
Very, especially if you have to rank in Abyss to get it. Mm-hmm. So top 3,000 JP you said was?
Yeah. It seems to be like these kind of units are mostly just like trophy units, kind of like the Sheraton. Like for someone to get EX3 Sheraton, the account power level required to get EX3 Sheraton, you don't need EX3 Sheraton because your account has so far progressed beyond the point of needing that unit. That'd be a great unit for a brand new player, but people that can actually get it don't need it, and it's kind of a strange conundrum.
Man, Brave Frontier will be crying right now. Wow, my children has not took my lessons. Why can't you just make good units and then make a hard trial to get them? But
yeah, actually, that is a good point, because Brave Frontier, I remember, what was his name? Arc, I think it was.
Arc, Geyser,
the
True God, his name.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, those units were really meta, and they were completely free if you could beat the very hard trial to get them, and they were really worth using.
And it was fun fighting them. I remember constantly going back each day, going home, trying to fight them, and luckily getting one of them.
Mm-hmm. So, Dark Visions, get your free unit. And then some more stuff. So we're getting new panel quests. These are the ones with the terrible UI, where you constantly see in the daily help questions, I can't do the panel quest, and they're swipe the bottom. That's all you got to do. It's not obvious. But they're updating it. So you can get, Lapis. You can get a copy of Tyvis, which is awesome. Neo Vision's guaranteed tickets. Basically some really, really nice rewards.
Yeah, I'll say this is very much better than the older ones they had, especially versus Rain and SOS Lightning.
Mm-hmm. And no, this is only from the 28th. Keep that in mind. This is not going to be this week, but the following week. So there you go. This, I was so hyped when I saw this. Oh my god. So, global exclusive series boss battles. In JP, series boss battles are just gone and forgotten. Global is bringing back series boss battles with EX levels. This was probably after the Parasite Eve collaboration, the hypest part of the stream for me. The safer Sephiroth, and not just because they chose Sephiroth as the first one, but just the series boss battles in general. I really enjoyed them. Like I said it before, they were nostalgic. The early ones were fun. Then they got really lazy in the design, but the earlier ones were great. And just for Global bringing them back is super cool. How do you feel about them bringing series boss battles back?
I am so hyped for it. I can't wait because I think honestly, Trials was my favorite content. Bringing like variety of units to a trial that find a combination to beat it, then find another one, keep on going. Instead of Cal, 1 week, 2 weeks to do it, then it's gone.
Mm-hmm. Now, when they announced this, I was like so hyped, and I was starting to talk to people in chat and stuff. I kind of stopped paying attention to the stream for a moment. But people in chat were saying that this is going to be like morale content, where you can use like the morale bar and stuff. Did they say that on stream, or was that people just being hopeful? I did not hear that on stream myself.
I mean, I was a little hyped too. I don't remember hearing morale.
Oh, okay.
I honestly hope it's not, because I think right now, when it stands for morale battles, I think there's either overtuned or underwhelming in terms of power.
Okay. So this, keep in mind, is not coming again until the 28th. So a week and a half away from this still. But I just got to say, I am extremely happy. Now, I will say, is a little bit of a concern here. Like I mentioned, the later series boss battles, the JP developers got super lazy with it, and they were just boring and very, very underwhelming. Safer Sephiroth was the last series boss battle ever created in JP, and it was very underwhelming. The AI is brain dead basic, and it's just not an interesting fight. So, I really pray and hope that Global has updated the boss's AI and attack pattern and not just copy pasted the same thing with updated stats. I really hope it's a new fight, because as it was in JP, this fight was not interesting. Like, the boss had like 2 moves per turn. It was a sleepwalk. So please, Global, have given it some actual, skill set. We'll have to see.
Yeah, I think the only one of those series boss battles I can remember, because I spent a week plus trying to get it, was with Klefka. It was like 3 phases. It was so good. At the stop, you gotta make sure you survive the next threshold, so you don't get hit by the what was it, instant attack? You come into the next battle? Something like that.
Hyperdrive or Fallen Angel, I think, was the...
Yes.
Yeah, the series boss battles early on were super good. Like, the first one was X-Death, and you had the 2 forms, the tree form in the beginning with the slot targeted death. You're on a timer to win before, I think it was turn 6, or you just died. Then the second form, you went into his real X-Death form. And again, it was just really dangerous. It was like the last 20% was like a race to win before he got crazy. And they were just really cool. Like I say, Kefka was one of the best ones ever. It had the 3 statue phases, then the final form of Kefka himself, then Emperor was another awesome one, where Emperor had the healing, the resurrections, stuff like that. The series boss battles used to be amazing. The first like 3 or 4 were top tier content, and then they just got really lazy with it, and then they just really went downhill really quickly. And the last 6 or 7 were just nothing. Horrible.
Yeah, I think it was it after Vlad it got terrible? I'm trying to remember.
I think he was one of the lazy ones as well. He was one of the later ones. Yeah, I think it was X-Death. Chaotic Darkness was actually one. He was actually pretty good. Chaotic Darkness. Then it was Kefka. And then it was Emperor, and Emperor was really hard. Now, on Global, it was a lot easier because Global exclusives, but in JP, Emperor was very, very, very hard. And most people couldn't even kill Emperor because, again, he had that healing in the final phase, and you couldn't deal enough damage, you just couldn't win. And I think what happened was people were so upset that Emperor was so hard in JP, they complained, they threw a fit, and after Emperor, I think the next one was Chaos, and it was just brain dead, brainless, and from then on, they were all incredibly easy because Emperor, I guess, just got too much backlash. It was too hard, and they just, the developers nerfed it.
Yep.
And they
got
trauma. Mm-hmm. Yep. And then, so moving on, so Parasite Eve collaboration login bonus. So,
oh wait, did we talk about the reward for Safer Sephiroth?
Oh, totally forgot about that. Yeah, right here. So the ability on the screen, it's a materia. So for Final Fantasy VII or Clash of Wills units, it's going to be a grand total of 150 to 125 to all stats and 150 killer to humans. That's ridiculously good for Final Fantasy VII or Clash of Wills units. That's really good.
Yeah, I really would like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm down for 100% stack attack, but I'll take what I can get.
Mm-hmm. And then for non-Clash of Wills or Final Fantasy VII, it's just going to be the 25 up here. But still, not even counting the killers and all, sticking this on Abigail or Elena as your tank, that's 125 to every single stat. That's amazing.
Wait a minute. That might solve Elena's health problem.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's actually only 50 to HP MP and then 100% to attack defense. Okay, so the primary stats are 100 plus 25. No, plus 50. Oh my god. Okay.
Wait,
so yeah, it's really hard to read. So it's 100.
Yeah,
it's 150 to attack, defense, magic, and spirit. 75 to MP and HP, and then 150 to human killer. That's really good. It's really good.
Well, I was about to say it's still decent, but it's really not. Might not save you much as Abigail's mitigations.
That is true. It's good on Abigail too, though, especially if she's like your physical provoker. Giving her 150 defense is awesome.
Oh, true.
Very nice. Very nice. And then the Parasite Eve login bonus. So you're getting a copy of Leftia completely for free. I guess it's thematic because, like I said, Parasite Eve was very heavily based around spontaneous combustion. So she's a fire unit. So we're getting a Leftia. Yay.
Another one, yay.
This is unfortunate. Unfortunately, I keep hoping they're going to adjust this irritating 30 login, especially considering they have apparently removed the 50
5K.
for 5K bundles, yeah. For what's her name? For Addison, we got 50 login fragments, but apparently we're going back to 30 for another limited collaboration unit. So, unfortunate. Yeah.
Yeah, pretty sad.
But we are getting free summons. So Parasite Eve daily free 10 plus 1. So 10 plus 1 for 20 days. So that's, I think they said 220 summons over the course of 20 days.
I heard 300, but you're probably right.
That's a lot of summons. That's pretty good.
Yeah, especially at least one guarantee sounds pretty good.
Mm-hmm. Now, it is only guaranteed Rainbow or Neo. It's not a guaranteed Neo.
Oh, I misinterpreted then.
Yeah, so he says it's Rainbow or Red. So, and 3% rate for Neo Vision units. So, still, very nice free summons. Love it. I think we're also still getting the weekly guaranteed free, aren't we, for a few more weeks?
Yeah, I think 4, 5 more.
Mm-hmm. And then finally, we had 2 Q&A community questions. They weren't Q&A. There's more developer info. They kind of changed the format. So one of them, future plans for Clash of Wills. In the future Clash of Wills update, we are adding a new mechanism where doing certain conditions will trigger a bonus time, and defeating the boss during this duration will give you bonus score. So basically, the translation of this means in order to get rank 1, you're now going to have a narrow window of killing the boss, and it's got to be during the bonus time, because obviously if you get more score to get rank 1, you're going to have to do that. So that's... how do you feel about that?
I interpret it a different way. I interpret it as in this is another route where like whales or people can clear it faster, bursting it to get rank 1 easier without having to deal with the morale or, staying through the rest of the fight. That's how I interpret it, at least.
I guess it could mean that way, like, different methods of getting to rank 1. I don't know. The issue is the rank 1 is based on current score, and unless they put like a hard cap on the score, then to tie for rank 1, you're going to have to do the same as everyone else up to the maximum. So I guess this one we kind of need more information, and it sounds like this is not going to be this current week. This would be like down the road or something.
Yeah, they said down the road.
So assuming it is the way I assume it's going to be, which is going to be, to get rank 1, you have to do the special method. That seems to be, I don't know. I guess for this, I have to really see it in action to really get a better grasp of it. But it feels like it's just more limiting. I've already complained a little bit about how Clash of Wills feels kind of generic, how, we're always bursting on almost the same term. This feels like it's going to even further narrow your strategy and team building to where you have to do it this exact way. Like if, hitting the boss with triple element on turn 6 opens up bonus time on turn 7, then everyone has to do that to get rank 1. That feels like it's just becoming more and more generic, I guess, in a way. I don't know. I really have to see this in action to really understand it better, I guess.
I think either method of this is just, it's not good for Cal as it is right now. I think, honestly, we need to make Cal harder as developing the AI of the boss. I feel like this is just helping certain other players get through the ranking, and then, like you said, it's already restricting them to now do this certain method. It's pretty much making a script for everyone to play the game. I don't like that. It's pretty boring. It's bland. It's no flavor to the text. So.
Mm-hmm. Right. Now, on the other hand, if it's like you are assuming, where you can either do Clash of Wills as we're already doing, you fill the morale gauge, you do your 2.5, you fill all the original criteria and get rank 1, or you can go the other route of like, as you're saying, like, whale mode, so to speak, and kill the boss on turn 2. I don't know. And, forgetting all the rest of the stuff, and you'll still get rank 1. I'm just making up an idea. But I guess that could be cool if you still had, or if you had different ways to get to the same end goal. That'd be actually kind of cool if that's the case.
I think it would be cool for the first couple of cows, but then, like, it will fall down to being very boring again. Because, you just two-shot the boss, which, if they undertune it, it's very possible. The first, couple cow bosses in the beginning of the season, it's very easy to just knock them out.
Mm-hmm. We'll have to see that in the future. And for the final developer update, Tygia, yes. Are you excited for this one?
Who are you kidding? I am like the Alespris hater / lover. Like,
yes. So, we understand that players were unsatisfied with the global original unit Alespris. Based on the feedback, we are currently in the process of reviewing the unit and considering ways to enhance her in the future. So basically, they heard feedback. Players are unhappy with the underwhelming design of Alespris, and they are going to buff her. That's amazing. That is so good. I'm so happy about that.
I feel bad for Kerr, but at the same time, I really don't care for him. So this is good for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you have been one of the few people that have like defended Alespris as being not that bad. Well, actually, no, you didn't say that. You said that you're happy that Alespris makes Ibarra better, which is your main thing, right?
Yeah, that is literally I can only see her as like a support to Ibarra. She has 50% katana apparel in Cal. She has all this dark apparel and a dark field the boost is what 210? No, yeah, 210 in Cal. Like literally just with her alone, well, and the 40% weapon peril for everyone else, you can burst so hard in Cal, and you're already past everyone else who can probably have 6-5 units to try to do the same thing you're doing with 2.
Mm-hmm.
Especially with Dwayne, it's ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
But outside that, she can't do her job as a breaker functionally. She has her highest breaks on demand. It's what I think
88.
85 auto break.
Uh,
Oh, 80.
yeah, it's on demand. It's her 85 auto break, and then her her SLB is
Yep.
which she can't even get.
88, 88.
Yeah, and that's only on at best once per 3 turns. Most people is going to be once per 4 or once per 5 turns. And yeah, and like just came out is Coralie, who is just better. He can, I mean, his is a regular LB of 89 as many times as he wants forever and ever. And yeah, so basically Ella Spears was very, very far behind the curve, and they are understanding that, thankfully, and they're going to fix that. Now, I will say I'm a little regretful that I completely skipped her, just because if they make her good enough as we were hoping her to be in the beginning, well, I can't pull her anymore. So I really hope, Gumi, etc., if you're going to buff her, please rerun her banner. Let me pull her because
Very much so.
Yeah, I skipped her the first time for good reason, and if she's going to become good enough, I will happily pull for her if she's good enough. But at this point it's too late, so we'll have to see.
I mean, still to justify, I think her Super TMR and her Vision card alone still justify pulling at least, or trying to pull at least one copy. In my opinion, I was lucky enough I got her and Lightning and I don't know, I forget some other premium back to back on her banner getting her. So I was like, oh
wow,
past couple banners I skipped, I got all the units right here. Cool.
That's pretty good. Well, I will be pulling for Brea. I personally love the game, so unless she's like just straight up terrible, I'm going to pull for her, and I'm assuming she's not going to be as a collaboration unit and all. So I'm assuming she's going to be good. I'm going to pull for her. So hopefully during her step up, maybe I'll get myself one copy of Ella Spears, and then she's good to go when she eventually gets her buffs. I'll be happy.
Yeah.
All right, but I think that mostly covers the live stream. This was definitely almost an hour long covering the live. This was like a really good live stream. We had the collaboration news, a bunch of global exclusive buffs, the return of series boss battles, them taking responsibility for making Ella Spears bad, saying they're going to fix her. They're updating Panel Quest. They're just like a lot free pulls out the gazoo, etc. So this is basically almost better than the anniversary live stream, I feel like.
No, it literally was. I feel like the anniversary was so underwhelming, and it was just dragged out. This one was fast. I at some point I told Chad, oh, this is happening so fast. They start throwing out information. This is good, and the information was so important. You had to think about it for a second to process it.
Mm-hmm. But all right, I guess we're gonna stop for here. We've got news in game coming in a few hours, so I will have to find myself a guest, and we will talk about news and anything not mentioned tonight or tomorrow. So, all right. Thanks again for joining me, Tygia.
No problem at all.
All right. See you next time.